If you've ever stared at a rack of hard drives and wondered whether you're about to spend another $100 on a piece of gear that will sit idle, you're not alone. Most of us have been there buying a NAS because the marketing promises blazing fast file sharing and seamless 4K streaming, only to discover that the unit either overpromises or underdelivers for the way we actually use it. You don't want to waste money on the wrong product, and you need to know if this particular model lives up to the hype for your workflow or your home media setup. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The QNAP TVS h474 PT8GUS is a 4-bay desktop NAS that sits at the crossroads of small office file server and home theater media hub. At first glance it looks like any other high-density box: 4 drive trays, a sleek aluminum front panel, and a pair of Ethernet ports that can run at 2.5 GBE. What makes it stand out is the combination of a recent Intel Pentium Gold G7400 processor, 8GB of DDR4 memory, and the ability to add 2 M.2 NVMe SSDs for cache or direct storage. In real-world terms, that means you get enough CPU horsepower to transcode a 4K H.264 stream on the fly while still handling multiple users copying large files across the network. Let's start with the use case that most people care about: streaming a movie library to a family room TV. The TVS h474's hardware decoder can take a 4K video stored on any of the 4 bays and push it out over the 2.5 GBE link to a smart TV, a streaming box, or even a laptop without any stutter. I set up the device with two 4TB WD Red NAS drives for bulk storage and a 1TB Samsung 970 EVO Plus in one of the M.2 slots as a cache. The cache acted like a small SSD front end. The first time I accessed a new movie it took a second or two to pull the data from the spinning disks, but after that the same file played instantly, even when multiple family members started different titles at the same time. That's a practical strength you don't get with a pure HDD box. Now, if you're a photographer or a video editor who needs to move terabytes of raw footage between workstations, the dual USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports, Type A and Type C, are worth noting. I connected a Thunderbolt 3 external SSD to the USB-C port and was able to copy a 200GB folder of 4K RAW clips in just under 8 minutes. The transfer rates topped out around 9 gigabits per second, which matches the advertised up to 10 gigabits per second claim when the SSD and the NAS are both operating at their limits. In a small production studio, that means you can offload footage from a camera rig to the NAS while the editor continues to pull already cached files for the cut, all without choking the network. On the flip side, the high-speed label can be a little misleading if you're not using the right cabling. The 2.5 GBE ports are fantastic, but they require Cat6a or better cable to really hit 2.5 gigabits per second. If you're still on standard Cat5e, you'll be capped at 1 gigabit per second, which is still decent but not the breakthrough speed the marketing hints at. In a home where the router is only gigabit, the NAS will happily run at its full speed, but you won't see the network advantage unless you upgrade the switch or the router to 2.5 GBE or higher. That's a hidden trade-off many buyers overlook until they're already paying for the unit. Another practical weakness is the lack of built-in SSD bays beyond the 2 M.2 slots. If you want an all-SSD NAS for ultra-fast access, you'll have to populate the 4 3.5-inch bays with 2.5-inch drives using adapters or rely heavily on the M.2 cache. For most home users the hybrid approach works fine, but a professional studio that needs sustained high throughput might find the mixed storage architecture limiting. The device does let you expand via a PCIe Gen 4 slot, but that requires an additional expansion card and a bit of technical know-how, which isn't something the average consumer is comfortable handling. Who should consider buying this QNAP? First, small to medium teams that need a central repository for large design files, video assets, or code bases. The ability to set up user groups, permissions, and snapshots right out of the box means you can protect critical data without hiring an IT specialist. Second, households that treat their media library like a shared family resource. The 4K transcoding works well with Plex or the QNAP native QTS media player, so even older TVs that can't decode HEVC get smooth playback. Finally, power users who enjoy tinkering with a bit of hardware expansion will appreciate the PCIe slot and the flexibility of adding SSD cache. Conversely, you might skip the TVS h474 if you're looking for a plug-and-play solution with no configuration steps. The initial setup, creating storage pools, assigning cache, tweaking network settings takes a few hours if you want everything optimized. Also, if you only need a simple backup device for